Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Mortgages. AI is the latest buzzword in the industry, with the likes of ChatGPT and so many other tools coming up. So here we have today Iftikhar Mohammed, advisor with over a decade of experience in the mortgage industry, who can tell us more about how AI can benefit mortgages. So Ifti, what is your take on AI?
That's a very interesting question, Tilini. AI for me is machines trying to do what humans do. So we'll take some day-to-day examples of what AI is that will make things much clearer. So you got voice assistants, for example. If you take something like an Alexa or a Siri, it's a voice assistant. So basically what it does is, if you ask questions, it has answers that it can come up with, but also there are times where it doesn't know the answer. So it goes and machine learns it and comes back with the answer to you. So that's one example. Another example that we use on a day-to-day basis is ChatGPT. Everybody knows about ChatGPT. If you give some guidance, let's say you want to write a letter, a professional letter, saying that you're requesting for a job. So you give the guidance and then that writes it for you. So that's artificial intelligence. And the third example in our industry, what we find is things like fraud prevention. So with fraud prevention, what really happens is that, based on various information that you have, they are trying to gauge whether that person applying for a mortgage is a fraudster or not, right? So it looks at the ID, it verifies various things, it looks at pictures, and then comes to that conclusion. So those are some examples of AI in this world.
That's really interesting, Ifti. So how do you think AI can impact the mortgage industry?
Yeah, so when it comes to AI and mortgage industry, it's quite primitive at this stage, right? Because a lot of the providers, they still use a lot of traditional methods. So for example, bank statements. Many brokers out there analyze bank statements manually. And if you take fact finds, it's done manually. So a link is sent out to a client and the client fills the details and they send it out. Or there are some brokers who also send forms which is on an Excel file or a Word document to fill and send back. Now those are very old methods. But we use this software called MortgageX, which was part of WIS the project. So with MortgageX, what happens is a fact find can be done in under 10 minutes. Because it uses technology that's out there and using AI. So what we do is, like, we take pictures of somebody and we look at the movements of the person's face. By doing that, we can judge whether it's a real human. And also when it comes to ID verifications, we verify the identity based on the movements of the hand, based on the movements of the device. So therefore, there's a lot of tech that we use in doing that. So this space is now changing quite a lot because we see more and more of this coming up in the industry. But MortgageX is one of the pioneers in the industry because people use AI in the mortgage world, but they don't use it in a very big way. They use it for a little bits of this and a little bit of that. But I think the drastic change that we see out there is MortgageX. And also there's a lender, Empower Mortgages. They use the tech as well out there. They use a lot of AI and their decisions are based on machine learning. Likewise, MortgageX does a lot of machine learning as well. So based on the responses you get and based on the questions they ask, it goes and machine learns. So today if you ask a question, because we have a voice assistant, so today if you ask one question and if it doesn't have an answer to that, which is unlikely, it will go and learn. So once it learns, it comes back and gives you the answer. So that's what it does.
Since you mentioned MortgageX, we'd really love to see a preview.
Okay, I'll show you. So this is MortgageX. It's got a lot of capability. One thing that it's capable of doing is, if it's an individual application, it can run a mortgage application in 10 minutes. And remember, it's done on a phone, right? Unlike a computer. Because with computers, traditionally, a lot of people use computers or for filling forms or whatever it is. But with MortgageX, it uses a phone, right? That's the difference. 80% of the population who were born after 1964 users phones to log into the internet. But why are mortgage brokers still using laptops or a PC to log in, right? So they should encourage clients to use the phone because that's the easiest way. And just imagine running an application under 8 minutes. So that's the capability of MortgageX. So in that 8 minutes, what it does is it does your ID verification, it downloads your bank statements. So no more running around trying to find bank statements and no more running around trying to find your credit card balances. So all that is simplified for you. And also your credit file is downloaded. So what that means is it's a soft credit search, so you don't have to worry about it. But because the credit file is downloaded, all your information is accurate. Because quite often we get answers from banks saying client has provided inaccurate details. But because we are using credit files, it's intelligent enough and it'll go and populate something called a fact find that the mortgage brokers use, which they use to submit to the bank. So it's intelligent and it analyzes all the transactions. That's when machine learning comes into play, because it analyzes the transaction and spending habits, spending trends of the client. That's what makes MortgageX very, very unique.
That's incredible. So are there any other benefits of AI?
Yeah, in the mortgage industry, definitely you can benefit a little bit more from that. I'll touch on some of the salient features. I can give you a whole list, right? But I'll touch on the salient ones. So one of the bigger benefits you have is we do something called risk profiling, and also we do something called sourcing. Now with sourcing, because we are using AI details and we're looking at history and the past and what the banks are doing, the results we get is accurate. So based on somebody's earnings and their expenses, what the machine tries to do is to pinpoint the right mortgage product. Now, if you go to a price comparison website, what happens is it'll give you 10 products and you generally go for the cheapest product. But with AI, it can pinpoint the cheapest product that the bank will offer you, which is different because you might have an unusual learning pattern which lender one on the price comparison site will not offer. But in this case, they will offer you because you are going for the most suitable product based on your circumstances. So that's a big benefit. But like I said, the list is endless, right? So that's one of the bigger benefits you have.
Okay. So do you think MortgageX can replace the mortgage advisor?
That's not the idea. So the idea behind MortgageX is to be an assistant, right? Like you use ChatGPT, for example, right? So with ChatGPT, the example I used before is it drafts a letter, right? But doesn't mean that you just send out the letter. You need to use your intelligence in that letter. So that's where brokers come into play.
Right.
But I think this is a big plus for the broker because it's an assistant, right? So with an assistant, what really happens is it helps you do some of those repetitive tasks that you would normally do. But if that bit is taken away from you, you can use that time more productively with your client, right? So you can spend more time with the clients to understand the client more and to give better advice. So this is an aid for you to give better advice.
Thank you. Is there anything else that you want to add?
Okay, AI is here to stay.
Yeah.
I always tell this. So embrace AI, like it or not, that's where the world's going. So if you leave AI out, you're kind of missing out really, because more and more, there's so many people who use ChatGPT these days. There's so many people who use Alexa or Siri or whatever it is these days. If you're not using it, you're left out because they're adding more and more features as you go. So just make sure you're using in your day-to-day life, right? So it's supposed to be making life easy for you. So that's the whole idea behind it.
So in conclusion, AI is here to stay, not to replace us, but to make our lives better. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can always leave a comment down below. And with that, until next time, this is Silini signing off from Let's Talk Mortgages.